Hi everyone, it's Sumi. So in my last video I shared with you guys how I use these picklet jars to make my ferments. And today I wanted to do a quick video on how I make my sauerkraut, my low histamine sauerkraut using these picklet jars. So to 2 organic heads of cabbage right here, you are going to need a 3-liter picklet jar. This is a 3-liter large picklet jar. And an airlock on top. And I also use this starter culture. It's Coldwell starter culture. And when I realized that I had histamine intolerance, I started using these cultures because I wanted to make sure that I had more control of what bacteria I was growing when I made my sauerkraut. So for 2 heads of cabbage, you're going to need 1 pack of Coldwell's starter culture. And you're also going to need some really fine, high-quality sea salt. The finer it is, the easier it is to mix with your cabbage. And you're going to need 2 to 2.5 cups of filtered water. And this will actually depend on how much juice comes out of your cabbage. If you have a whole lot of juice coming out of your cabbage, you might need a little bit less. So just, look at your cabbage and gauge how much you might need. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your cabbage and you're going to quarter your cabbage like this and take the core out. And you can start shredding it. If you have a cabbage shredder, great, you can use that. Not just use your knife and your cutting board. And you're going to put it into a nice big mixing bowl. Put all your cabbage into the mixing bowl. And what you're going to need is something to pound your cabbage with. So any type of kitchen tool or a sauerkraut pounder. You can use your hands to massage it as well. But you want to start to pound and massage the cabbage in the bowl so you get all the juices coming out. And when you do this, you're going to do that with the salt. So mix the salt in there with the shredded cabbage. And while you're working on that, you can also dissolve your starter. So dissolve the starter pack right in here into the water. And you're going to let it sit for maybe about 8 minutes, but no longer. This will activate the culture. And once the culture is activated and you have your shredded cabbage, go ahead and pour it all in there. Pour all your starter culture water in there and mix it all up. And when you have your cabbage ready to go, you're going to take this large 3-liter jar, take the lid off, and you're going to start putting your cabbage in here. So when you do this, you want to be really careful and make sure that you're really pushing the cabbage down in there because you don't want any air pockets. The goal is to have no oxygen in here while your cabbage ferments. So push it down, pack it down in there, and you're going to fill it up until just about here, until the shoulder. And make sure that there's brine above the cabbage. So you want everything to be under the brine. And the reason you only fill it up until right here to the shoulder is because you want some extra room on top while the sauerkraut ferments because it's going to expand. Okay, so when you have your cabbage in your pickle jar, you're going to go ahead and put the lid on. And this airlock right here on top, the airlock is going to be filled with water right up until here, just about the middle, the fill line. Stick it in there. And you're going to put a towel or something around your jar so that it doesn't let any sunlight in. And you're going to let this sit on your counter. The sauerkraut will be ready in about 4 to 10 days. But if you let it sit out for a little bit longer, maybe about 2 weeks, that's actually going to increase the amount of probiotics in here that's going to help you with your histamine intolerance. So you might want to leave it out a little bit longer and then you want to put it in the fridge. So after 2 weeks, go ahead and put it in your refrigerator. And one other thing that you want to keep in mind is when you start eating your sauerkraut and you have maybe about a third, maybe that much left, you want to make sure you switch the jars and put it into a smaller picklet jar. So that way the oxygen will stay out of the jar. So do the same thing again if you start eating it, and if you have about a third left in this jar too, take that sauerkraut and put it in a smaller jar, okay? So that way you'll have your anaerobic sauerkraut in there, so you'll have no oxygen there and no more histamine increasing, okay? So this is how I make my low histamine sauerkraut. Try it out. Happy fermenting. Happy low histamine fermenting. I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial. Okay. If you have any comments or questions, please write them below.